This weekend was fun. This weekend was real fun.
Did you go to the game?
I was in the press box for the first game, not the second game.
This is the Minnesota, just for everyone we officially.
Yep, sorry, Gophers. Yeah, so I wasn't able to go to the game at the X because the wife had like one of her best friend's birthday dinner or something. So I was on kid duty, but was at the Mariucci game, which I threw the video up of the stands just knowing it would get people to reply because of how empty they were. But like, sorry, this is a big scheduling fuck up. Like, why would you have your first home game in the midst of homecoming at 5:30? Fucking 5:30 puck drop. Some people aren't even off work yet. What the fuck are you doing? Like, so of course the stands are empty, but the student section was actually filled and rowdy. And guess what? It didn't matter how many people were there because just less people to witness the murder that took place. Interesting, in both games, the Tommies take the lead, like score early. And actually for the first like 5 minutes of the first game, St. Thomas actually looked really good and they were kind of running on the Gophers. And then they just kind of stopped. They're like, yeah, so we're going to stop letting them do this. Yeah. And break. And it was over. Like, Brody Lamb absolutely owns the Tommies. I think he's got, I'm trying to remember how many goals he has to this point, but I think like a third of them have been scored against St. Thomas. Not this year. I'm saying in his career with the Gophers.
Yeah.
But there was no hold up, period. A couple things we got to talk about Gophers before we get back on the wild prospect train. First and foremost, I said it a little concerned early on. Now I'm just full on going to endorse it. Sam Rinzel needs to be in the Hobey discussion. Yep. This guy is having a fucking year.
Yep.
And he was like my pick at the beginning of the year to be the guy that pops off, which like, that's not like a hot take. He's a very good player, but like you look at a blue line that has Kester, has Chesley, and all of the forwards in this group, to think that he'd be the guy that would rise and be the leading Hobey candidate for the team. Tell you what, he's there. I'm all aboard that train. He is going to have a fucking year. Now you can say the same thing about them as we're saying about Winnipeg. Like, have they played anyone of note? No, but they're taking care of business. The only one that kind of hurts is that the Uno loss looks real bad after they just got drubbed back-to-back weekends. But oh well, what can you do? This Kurth Clark Wood line, holy crap! We'll get to our guy in a second, but Kurth and Wood, like, did you expect what we're seeing from either of them, regardless of like line combos?
Well, so I mean, like, first of all, real quick, not like the Sam Rinzel going off was the least shocking thing possible for me. Just like, he was primed to just like, if Minnesota was really gonna push for like the national championship, it was like, when I look at that back end, and I mean, when you look around the country too, there are very few defensemen with that skill set. Plus, he's got the size, and when he wants to fucking hit someone, I mean, he is a fucking animal when he chooses to. But I mean, third on the team in points, 4 goals and 5 assists for 9 and 6 games, +6. He's only taken 2 penalties too, which is also impressive. Sometimes I've seen him, like, it was more like, I guess, junior. Well, not junior, but like when he was younger, dude, every once in a while you would see him just like get mad about nothing and just immediately decapitate someone. So he had like a short wick, but I mean, he's been very, obviously, like, just very well composed. But yeah, there haven't been very many opportunities for him to get mad because they are just playing so well. Yeah, but I mean, like, he's clicking it like over a point per game on that back end. But Connor Kurth and Matthew Wood, first and second on the team in points. Matthew Wood, not really. I was curious to see.
In college hockey right now, I believe.
Yeah. Both have 12 points. Kurth's got 6 and 6. Woods got 3 goals, 9 assists, which is also like, that's the thing that surprises me, is the fact that Woods not just doing it being an absolute sniper. He's got more assists than goals.
Dude, did you hear his quote after the game?
No. So
after the first game down in media availability, I think it was Russo's guy. Man, why do I space on his name? Dylan Laux.
Oh, Dylan? Yeah. Yeah.
He asks him, he's like, so that goal you scored there, what did you see? Because I didn't see a whole lot of room there. And he just looks over and says, there was enough room. And that's all he says.
So, like, there you go.
What an answer.
Like, that's how fucking good he is. And, like, he doesn't – but even, like, he's getting it done with assists and, like, flashing the occasional, like, playmaking, which, again, like, his whole – like, leading up to this year, he has just been an absolute sniper. He's got one of the best shots in college hockey. And, like, this trio of Kurth, Wood, and Jimmy Clark, like, they can do everything. Like,
what's
they
our
give
favorite
you
part about
something
this line?
in everything.
What's our favorite part about this line?
I feel like I'm forgetting.
I texted you about it.
Oh, the fact that they're penned in is like their fourth or third or fourth line half the time. Like,
penned in is the fourth line every game.
Yeah.
I love it.
And I think they all three of them play like 22 minutes. Like,
I'm obsessed with the fact that Bob keeps doing it.
And, like, you know, again, Connor Kurth, phenomenal college hockey player. He gives you a little bit of everything. You've got Matthew Wood, who's supposedly supposed to be just like an absolute sniper, and then you've just got Jimmy Clark, who's just any coach that you talk to him about, that any coach that's had him is like, he's one of our more just reliable, whatever situation we need. Plus, by the way, he is a ridiculous passer of the puck. Now he's winning faceoffs at a ridiculous clip too. Like, he's just affecting all three zones. That line is so much fun to watch, and Minnesota as a whole is a very, very fun hockey. When they get going, like you said, they started slow against both teams. Do you agree with me, though?
Do you agree with me that, like, they haven't really even clicked? Like, when they score the goals, like, you see it. But there's so many times where there's miscues and things are going wrong. This line, if they stay together, dude, the ceiling is so fucking high.
And you have to think there's no reason that Motzko's even going to consider breaking them up at, like, unless he wants to get Snuggerud going, who still has he's over a point per game anyways.
Dude, he's been an enigma for me, where, like, you see it once or twice a period where it's like, oh fuck, there's Jimmy. Outside of that, I don't notice him at all. Like, he's just also, like, disappeared.
I mean, the kid's shooting 0.034% or 3.4%. Like, he is, like, he's put up 29. He's put up 29 shots. He has 1 goal. Like, he's that'll flip.
Totally. But I'm not even seeing the good shots, though, is my point. Like, there's not many times that I'm like, oh, fuck, that should have gone in. Like, Jimmy's buzzing. He's had good moments every game, but start to finish the game, like, he really isn't that noticeable.
Yeah, I mean, the last few games I've watched, some of the shots he's throwing out there, it's just like, okay, he's clearly aware that he has 1 goal and he's not, like, he stepped into college hockey and immediately was, like, contending for the Hobey. So I'm sure he's just, like, also in his own head, too. I have a funny feeling once their schedule picks up, I would not be surprised if all of a sudden he just, like, emerges and just starts going off. And you look at his track record, there's no reason to expect, or to not expect him to have, like, a 5-game streak where he has, like, 9 goals. Like, I think that's going to come eventually here. But I mean, what a fun hockey team right now, dude.
Dude, I love it. If the goaltending holds up, they are going to be, like, I think that they are the team to beat this year. I do. If the goaltending holds up. And that's, like, Denver, sick. BC, sick. They're all good. If the goaltending gets sorted out and Bob comes to, like, grips with his number one and it's a guy that they can ride, that I don't think there's a deeper team in college hockey. I don't. Now, if we're going to compare first lines, like, yeah, the BC first line is probably gonna finish the year as the best line in hockey. That they should. But you look at the blue line depth, this is almost as good as the year in Tampa that they choked away to Quinnipiac. You look at their forward lines, they don't have a single line that wouldn't qualify as, at worst, a third line on like a top 5 team in the country. Most of them across the league, like we're talking second, first line for most teams across all of these lines. That's a luxury that teams don't have.
Right.
But Jimmy slowed up on the score sheet a little bit, and he didn't have his best game when I was there on Friday. Like, it wasn't bad, but you could tell like there were some things that he'd want to have back. Doing a good job though on the faceoff dot. First night he was 9 of 12. Next night he was 9 of 18. So that hurts the ratio a little bit. But like, if this line can keep going and just let the rest of the lines get sorted out as the season goes, watch the fuck out for the Gophers. But Jimmy Clark, he's on the ascent. Like, this is a guy that, for a 7th round pick, like, holy shit. Go off, Judd.
Yeah. I mean, he rocks. Like, he's such a fun player. And again, like, when you just, we always are going to laugh about the plus minus stat. But when you look at the 3 of those guys, like, whenever they are on the ice, good things are happening. Like, Jimmy Clark at this point, assists in both games against the Tommies.
Yep.
+3 on Friday, +1 on Saturday. He's got 8 points in 6 games. He's a +11. He's won 50, close to 60% of his faceoffs. He's also blocked 4 shots. Like, again, like his big calling card in the USHL was that ridiculous passing ability. Like, some of the passes he would make were just comical.
Dude,
now he's got this
assist he had too.
Oh. Yeah, nasty. Like Matthew Woods says there was enough room, valid shot. It's the same thing with like Jimmy Clark passing a puck through like a tight seam. It's like, yeah, I can get that there. Like, it's fine. I'm fine in tape.
Is this our Lizard Prince?
Oh my god. Careful.
Print the shirts. Print the shirts.
But yeah, no, Jimmy Clark rocks. Yeah. He's off to a strong start. Minnesota's off to a strong start. Very fun hockey team to watch.